CD. Okay, good. Because I was listening to her like, I don't like the way it say we 2 full hours and I'm only 1 hour now. I need to change it. But I'm being.
Welcome to Rocki's Reality. Get ready for unfiltered and unapologetic culture, entertainment, relationships, and a little bit of politics on Motor City Woman Radio. Follow Rocki's Reality on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. In the meantime, let's go.
Yes. Here with TT from the D. Hey. Yes. Welcome. So I see you were able to share it.
Yes.
So let me go ahead and do that myself.
Okay.
Welcome everyone right quick. Rocki's Reality.
Yes.
While we are doing this, y'all, please go ahead, share the video so we can get it popping with TT from the D and I. I'm sharing it now on my page.
Amen.
All right now. Okay, here we go. Lord, is it? Okay, here we go. All right, welcome, TT.
Hi. Happy Thursday.
Yes, I love it. We both got our chains on. You got Naturally Dope.
Yes.
Did you get it from Naturally Fly?
No, I got this from City Trends.
Oh, okay. I love it. Are they still off? What is that? Is that the one at Oak Park or 7
Yes,
Mile?
the one at Oak Park.
Okay.
Yeah. They always have the cutest little stuff in there, and I saw this and I said, I feel like I'm naturally dope.
Exactly.
And it was only one. And so I was like, I had it in my hand. I was like, nah, I don't need that. I came in for something else. And then I said, it's going to be one of those moments that you're going to wish you would have got it. I'm going to come back to the store. It's going to be gone.
And it's going to be gone.
So I picked it up. And people love it. People love it. So, yeah, thank you.
Yep, I love it too. And because mine, I don't know if you can see it. It says Wild AF.
Oh, I like that.
Which fits me to a T. I actually shout out to and since this is Women's History Month,
okay,
I want to shout out the ladies at Sweet Potato Sensations and Naturally Fly. The t-shirt and the chain is from them. So shout out to the ladies. And I did like a little salute to some Black-owned business, some Black women-owned businesses earlier in my stories. Y'all might have seen me with my Glamourholic bag and my Glamourholic wallet, and I'm wearing Boss Lady by the Lip Bar.
Come on, Boss Lady.
From head to toe, Black women, we are representing.
Yeah.
Y'all know I love us. We are our favorite creatures. I love how we come in all shapes and shades.
Come on now.
Yeah.
You come in all shapes. And as if you don't mind, I would like to. So I love Lip Bar. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's Black owned and it's in our city. And so I got introduced to it by one of my amazing coworkers for Christmas about 2 years ago. And because I always complimented her red lips. I said, girl, that lipstick be popping. She said, every time I go to a business meeting, I throw on my Boss Lady. So I was like, okay. And so for Christmas, it wasn't even a gift. It was just like one of those we did the Secret Sister. You know how you do the Secret Santa? So we did the Secret Sister.
I love it.
Yes. And so she gave me that for Christmas, like a little secret, a little token. It wasn't the gift. And I was like, okay, I put that on. I'm like, come through. This Boss Lady is the perfect
Boss
Lady, everything.
And I love that I could wear it in the winter, in the summer, because this is my thing. I don't wear certain shades in the winter time because I'm be having yellow people problems. I'm light, so
that's your. I don't have them problems.
And see, that's what I'm saying, because you a caramel, you a brown girl, you good. So, but I got light girl problems. Feeling like Casperina over here. Done lost my tan. But hopefully, I am, God willing, and y'all say a prayer with me. Hopefully, in 2 weeks' time, I will be on a plane headed somewhere on the beach.
Oh, can I vicariously live through you? Because girl, I wish I was going
to put you in my luggage. Come on, let's go. I'm gonna put you in my luggage.
Let me get in the carry-on.
Girl.
Come on now.
Girl. So I asked the husband, and I know we've been traveling a lot, and I said, husband, please, if you can make it happen, a beach. And he was like, where you want to go? A beach. I don't care. As long as it's warm. I just need a beach so I can lay out, get tanned in my two-piece.
Come through.
Two-piece.
Come through.
And trying to eat a little better. but you know, it is what it is. Y'all gonna get this 45-year-old fineness, all of this. So
greatness, just all greatness.
That's the beauty of getting older, though. You know, it's like you have a confidence in yourself that in our 20s and 30s, we was wearing girdles and wearing all of this stuff. And I mean, I know women are doing it now with the waist trainers and stuff. But sometimes it's just like, look, this is the natural beauty. This is the natural beauty. And and I don't know if you follow Teron Caldwell, TC Akeelia, Terrion Caldwell. He is hilarious. Okay. And he just has these different skits about, he imitates black mamas.
Is he the one to do this? The nursing home.
And sometimes he like Timmy. You know who I'm talking about, right?
He's like, don't start with that nursing home shit.
Yeah. That's him. So he was saying how men who want you for your value don't care really about all of these Brazilian butt lifts and stuff. They just want a woman.
Yeah.
They want a woman. They don't care about stretch marks. They don't care about fupas. Actually, shout out to one of my Facebook friends, Imago Day. His name is Stephen White. Shout out Steve White. He's an actor here in Detroit. He was saying, like, you know, I kind of like women with stretch marks on their booty. The other day, he was like, I kind of like that. He's like, that's kind of sexy to me. I'm like, oh, okay. I love it. Come through, real man. So, and in this social media age, it's just important to highlight that, you know, everybody don't look like an IG beauty, you know.
Well, you know, there's a lot of the apps that are doing a lot of filters that you can contour the body and different things like that. And so I remember a couple of years back, way before it became popular to get the waist snatched and things like that, tummy tucks and butt lifts. I remember I was like, you know what? I think I want to get a breast implant. I want to get some bigger breasts. Like Jesus, see, God knew when he designed me not to give me a big butt and not to give me some, you know, big breasts, because I'd be a hot mess. Okay. Because my confidence level was very low when I was young. Oh yeah. It was young. When I was young, I didn't believe like I was cute, or I would look at my friends. They was all like, bam, bam. And I'm like, what, Jesus, why me? Why I didn't get that? And then as I got older, because you don't know how to act. You don't know how to act. And so you ain't gonna know how to act. So I remember talking to Swift and I said, you know what? When I get some money, I think I want to get a tummy tuck and I'm going to get a breast augmentation. So he said, he called me Miss TT. So he's like, Miss TT. He was like, listen, he's like, I love everything about you. And this man has been telling me that since 2005. He was like, I love everything about you, just the way you are, your naturalness. He was like, you don't need any of that. He was like, there's nothing wrong with a woman if they want to do that. He said, but you don't need it. It's a difference than you feel like, oh, I need this versus I want this. And you just looking at like what everybody else is doing. Now, one thing I wasn't thinking is I want to do it because everybody else is doing it. I just imagine like, wow, I wonder if my stomach was snatched, right? Snatched. And if my girls set up a little perkier. And I said in my younger days, you know, they stood attention like they was in the military. And so after kids, you kind of like, so
girl.
Yeah, I didn't bounce back.
You know what I love? And shout out to Ron, right?
Hey, Ron.
And then I'm gonna do the official intro because we just done start talking.
Because that's what we do.
We start talking.
That's what we do.
Especially as after children, your body is not the same. And what I appreciate about my husband, he's done the same thing where he'll be like, you look the same as when I met you. I'm like, no, I'm not. I am not the same as when you met me, Negro. That was 23 years ago. I do not look the same. And he'd be like, you look the same to me. Like, look, he's like, I still love what you got going on. So
shout out to Mr. Harris. Shout out to Mr.
Harris. Shout out to my boo. But you have to love your body for you, but also you do want to be appealing to your man.
Absolutely.
You do want to be appealing to him. So we appreciate, because we know they don't look the same either.
No, they don't.
But we still love them.
We do.
Because my boo, he bald and he be like, I wish I still had my hair. I love you bald though. I told him, I was like, the bald head is so sexy.
It is.
I mean, you can leave the braids. You ain't got to get no fade again. So I think that's part of like being in a couple too, and being in a relationship, reassuring your significant other that I love you just the way you are.
I agree.
That old school song, I love you just the way you are. Yeah. And that's what people need to know. I love you just the way you are.
Yes, right.
So, and of course, if And it's been times where we've had honest conversations where he be like, all right, boo, you don't need to get after 8. You don't need to, like having those honest conversations, but not those demeaning conversations. And so that's why I appreciate my boo for us. So shout out to both our boos. Yours, Swifty McVeigh of B12, by the way, y'all. And my boo, Ben Harris, who is my official graphic designer, Ben Ready Graphics.
Yes.
So I just let me just officially introduce Miss TT from the D, y'all, Teresa Credit Moore.
Yes.
Been active in the entertainment business probably as long as some of y'all been alive, over 30 years.
Yeah.
Production assistant, director's assistant, stage hand assistant, experienced actress, had an event coordinator, MC, therapist, massager, comforter, lover, fighter, true girl. Been working with TJ Hemphill, and I loved your interview you did with him.
Thank
by
you.
the way, because that's old school. A lot of people don't know.
That's real training right there.
Right. That's stage legacy right there.
You better say it.
And you've worked with Christian Keys, Detroit song, or I think he's from Flint, right?
I don't know which part, but I know he's from Detroit.
Okay, so Christian Keys, and is it Karan Moore?
Karan Moore.
Karan Moore, who plays the evil ass wife
in the Franklin, Victoria Franklin. Yes.
The hell out of that. But you a plethora of people. Beth, shout out to Beth.
Oh, I love Beth.
Favorite people.
Yes.
Shout out to her. But you just work with a plethora of people and been in this game for a while. So I just want to salute you for that. TT because we know dealing with this entertainment industry, it ain't for punks.
It's not, and I don't consider myself no punk. It goes through cycles, if I could say that. It goes through cycles. It goes through seasons, and what I've learned, and I hear myself sounding redundant saying, is that you have to know your season. And so I went through a season, and I'm transparent, Rocki. I went through a season, and shout out to Courtney and Christina Benjamin. They put me on the map. I've been the executive assistant to Courtney Benjamin since he started the label back in 2011, and I was the first artist assistant to Christina Benjamin, which is the first lady of Benjamin Entertainment Group, and she's my sister friend, he's my brother friend, but they're also employers, right? And they helped me get aligned with flipping the script. Like you said earlier, TJ Hemphill put me on the map with bringing me under his wing and teaching me about stage management, productions. And I started out as an extra. And so I believe that when you know your season, you walking in accordingly. You're not going to wear shorts in the middle of December. Well, some people will, but the average person is not. Okay. And so you have to know your
not
season.
In Detroit.
Well, if you go to certain parts of, I've seen it, but it's okay. It's okay.
Macomb County.
There you go. Okay. You called it out. You right there. But when you learn your season, so I went through a season where I felt like, I guess some would say it was dry season. And there was nights, because you know how there's a saying of church hurts? I made up one that's called production hurt. Industry hurt.
Oh.
Okay. And because when we get hurt in the church, sometimes we just fall back and be like, I'm done with church. We still believe in God, but we're like, okay, you know what? I can get the word from the radio. I can get it from Joel Osteen. Right. I can get it from, wherever I'm going to get it from, Joyce Myers, whomever, TD Jakes, Sarah Jake Roberts, whoever. I ain't going into the 4 walls because I was hurt. Yeah. And so I've been production hurt. I've been industry hurt. And there was a time when I decided I'm going to just give it up because I didn't want to be hurt anymore. I cried. And it takes people to be in your village that's going to get you together. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with Christina where she'll be like, I need you to get yourself together. You waiting and wishing and hoping and like, why they don't see me? Because this ain't your season. But when your season comes, sis, and it will, you're going to know it. And I'm telling you, I'm sitting in the car like, I feel you.
I'm bad.
Okay.
Right, because you working hard as hell and you see others. And you like, what? And you don't want to compare yourself to others, but you comparing yourself to yourself, like, I'm still stuck in this place, it seems like. Yes.
And so I went through a shutdown period, still working. I never stopped. I said, I'm going to quit. I'm going to do something different. My background is criminal justice. People don't know that.
And education.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been in education for like 20, going on 23 years. No, I'm a coordinator.
Okay.
I'm a coordinator. And so, but I've had different roles: administrative assistant, executive assistant, transportation coordinator, registration coordinator. I've done it all in the educational realm. And I love what I do, working with children and stakeholders and the districts and families and being that person. So I have a servant's heart. And so it just aligns with that. Even though I didn't go to school for that, that's not what my degree is in. It was in something totally different. And I just was hell bent. I'm going to be a homicide detective. That's what I was like, that's what I'm about to do. I'm working homicide. I know, right? Can you go figure? Like, So I did my internships with Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. I did internship with the ATF. And so it was like, let's go. Let's get it. And then I got pregnant with my 11-year-old.
Okay.
Decided I'm not about to be in these streets running after people. Doing SWAT and all that. And so it was just like, I'm going to still hold on to my industry connects and wait my turn. And when I tell you, I went through a bumpy ride because God, when you allow yourself to surrender to God, let me put that out there for me. And I'm not telling anybody about their faith walk or how they function, but I know where my help comes from.
Exactly.
Man gonna let us down every single day.
Girl, that's why I say stop expecting stuff from humans. You need to stop expecting stuff from humans.
Yes. They're gonna let you down. He never lets us down. It's us who lets him down. And thank God for second chances. Thank God, as Ralph Gabi would say, for redemption, because we all went through something. We all got a story, right? And so along that journey, it was just like God said, just trust the process. And I'm like, but I don't know the process. It's like God gives you the blueprint of life. He gives you all these neat tools. And we sometimes don't know how to open up our toolboxes to get out the necessary tools to chisel and chip away and help create the masterpieces that God has intended us to do.
And be patient.
Be patient.
That's part of my issue. Because I've had those moments too where I get sick of writing about celebrities, or I get sick of chasing after celebrities. And that's why of course, I was telling Ben earlier today, I love when I speak to celebrities. Of course, who doesn't? But I also love staying connected with my community. And that's why I love to have guests of various influencers, activists. And I was offered an opportunity today to speak to a school. Nice. Of parents at a school. And I was like, God is good, because I did a seminar for the United Way last month about parenting during the pandemic. And the lady who coordinated it reached out to me today and said, hey, I have a school official who was there who would like you to come speak to some parents at their school. And she's like, what's your fee? And I'm like, wait a minute now, Lord. Wait, I wasn't like thinking about this. And so the moments like that let me know I'm going in the right direction. That me maintaining that connection with my community is important, because with the celebrity stuff, that's going to let you down. But pouring into that community, edifying the parents and the children there. So I'm grateful for that opportunity. But I feel you. Sometimes you feel you being in media, you get media hurt too, because it's a lot of dynamics. It's a lot of politics. A lot of madness. So right quick, just want to shout out everyone who's watching. Shout out to Ron. He said Billy Joel killed the song. The Just Your Way You Are. Yes, Billy Joel. Favorite.
Yes. Thank you,
Ron. Radical Honesty. That's my best friend Gigi. Hey, Pam. Pam, one of my aunties, Pam. Hey. And Nikki Gio.
Hey, Nikki. I love Nikki.
Hey, Nikki.
Shout out to Nikki. She has Worthy Brown Girl Network. Shout out to her for starting that nonprofit. Amazing. Nikki is a phenomenal woman. She really is.
Right. So you're going to have to connect me, because I do want to do a show probably coming up in July where I do a Black business Christmas. Black business, Black Christmas, the stores will have Black Christmas in July. I do a Black business Christmas show. I like to feature some nonprofits as well. So we got to keep Nikki, make sure you follow. Let's keep in touch. Because again, I love to do a spectrum. I love talking to celebrities, but I like talking to regular people as well, activists, those on the front line, influencers, etc. So okay. So I got to get into your business a little bit. Let's get into business a little bit. So got into the industry. were you always aspiring to do this when you were a kid? Were you like me growing up listening to 98, looking at different strokes, looking at good times and being like, oh, I want to
life. Give me a break.
Girl. Okay. All of them shows from the 80s. I always look like, oh, I would love to do that one day. But especially being on the radio. So did you have some of those moments growing up leading you to entertainment?
Let me tell you something. Here's a fun fact people don't know about me. Well, some people know, some people don't. My mother is a former background singer for different groups from the Motown era, Black Bottom, Paradise Valley, back in that day. She used to do cover songs and just be in that industry before I was born. She got pregnant with me, and my father told my mother that if you want to be a good mother, how can you be a good mother and still be out here trying to perform and do all that? You need to raise your daughter. No. My mother gave up that dream. My mother saw something in me. I always loved to dance. And I remember my mother, I don't know, I'm dating myself because I'm 46. Forget it. Whatever.
We fine though. We're not ashamed because we fine.
No, we're not. We're seasoned.
I'm about to be 45. I have no shame. And I know they say lady doesn't tell her age. How about this lady is still alive, especially after the pandemic? Yeah. So we're going to tell the age and be proud.
Yeah.
Come on.
Amen. I'm proud. When I tell you being 46 and the Lord's will for me to hit 47 this year, every year is a blessing. Okay. Every day that I rise up and, I just thank God all the time because you're right. There's people that didn't, not only from the pandemic, but other health challenges.
Just period.
In the DNA. It's I spoke to someone not too long ago and they said that they were happy to see 40 because the African-American women on their bloodline don't do that.
Ooh.
And it made me feel some kind of way. And I felt like, oh my God, like, to be afraid, like, as I get older, like, I hope I see this. I hope I see,
right.
Like you would hear people say when they were mostly males, African-American males, hey, if I could just make it out the hood and see 21, right. I'm doing good.
Right. And that ain't nothing.
It's like, that shouldn't be your norm.
Right.
That should be your norm.
Wait a minute. Let's get back to the story your mom.
I digress.
Salute to Mama Moore.
Yes.
Or Fredget. I'm sorry.
Mama Fredget. So she entered me in my first dance contest when I was 5 at Henry's. Remember Henry's and Watts?
Henry's.
Hold on. I wasn't stripping. Okay, hold on. No, but they used to have kiddie discos on Sundays. They would have kiddie discos, and I don't know if people knew that. But my mom would enter me in these contests and I would win those little contests. So as I got older, my mother put me in modern dance. And so I'm like, okay, she knew I could dance. And as I got older, when I was about 11, she put me in my very first singing group. I had a singing group. I was a part of a 5-piece group called Pure Pleasure. And it was multicultural, diverse. One of the singers was Assyrian. One of the singers was Chaldean. One of the singers was Hispanic. Me, and then we had Kelly, redhead Kelly. She was Rainbow Coalition. And so we would perform around the city and then singing and entering all these talent shows. So much so, Rocki, I felt like I was famous when I was like 12 years old because my mother would, have us driving around in cars and taking us. She was our manager. She was a momager. And so my mom was one of those, I'm gonna get these kids there. They're gonna do it. We would perform at Hart Plaza. Many people might not remember the Ford Auditorium.
Yes,
Rappers Ball.
I had when I took ballet and tap, we had our recitals at the Ford Auditorium. Yes,
honey. Amazing experience. And so in the 80s. People don't know. So that's the fun fact about me. I was singing and then I was dancing, and then as I got older, where I can kind of control what I was gonna do, I started doing background dancing, and then I tapped into acting. I didn't even know. Like, I'm gonna tell you who inspired me, and I love this woman. My bucket list goal is to interview Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh wow,
I love her. She's the reason.
Come on, have her at your red table. Come on.
Oh, come on now. She's the reason why I got into acting. I did my very first stage play called Black Pearls. It was at the Wayne County Community College, right off of Greenfield. Mm-hmm. And when I auditioned, it was for a role that had no lines. And so it was a waitress. She was supposed to be a zany waitress. And like there was a couple and it was all about them. So when I came out to audition, they was like, you got to do a monologue. So at that time, I didn't know really what a monologue was. So I was watching other people. I was like, damn, I ain't got nothing coming. And it was like, Teresa Craigett, I was box my last name up. I was like, Teresa Craigett, but yeah. So they said, you have a monologue? Huh?
It's Teresa.
It's Teresa. But people say Teresa all my life. My grandmother called me that. And so I respond to either way. It doesn't matter. Okay. Unless I don't like it.
Okay. So, but you corrected them like it's Teresa.
Yeah, I did. Because that was my first time. I want you to know
my name. Get it right.
So I got out there. And what I did is I took a piece from one of my favorite movies, Low Down Dirty Shame with Jada.
Yeah.
I took Peach's character.
I loved her.
And I improvised. I didn't know back then what I was doing was improving. I didn't know anything about improving, but I was doing it, didn't know. And so they loved her. Like they loved the little piece I did. And so they said, okay, you don't have no lines. We love your attitude and your energy. And so you're going to come out and you're going to take their order, just kind of act like you're taking their order or whatever. So when I came out, I was popping gum and, like the guy was at the table and I was like, ooh, I was like, what can I get for you? And then he was like, I'll take so-and-so. Now there was no lines there. And then she was like, I was like, and what can I get for you? And they was like, cut. I was like, I'm sorry. I know. He said, no, keep that. I love it. I love what that energy you bring because we needed something to kind of, and from there, I had a couple of lines that they just implemented because of that. And it was all because of Peaches from Low Down Dirty Shame, my invisible mentor, Jada. She didn't know she was inspiring you and things like that. So it went from there. And then I really didn't know about the acting. Like I liked it. I wasn't big on it. I focused on hip hop dancing. So I became a choreographer. Funny story real quick. I didn't know that I could actually get paid to teach people to dance.
Girl.
Okay, I didn't know.
Your gift will make way. Okay.
I tell people this. Your gift will make room for you.
Yeah.
I said that all the time. So remember the Metro Times paper. I love the Metro Times. Okay. Always in the back, you hear all these auditions and casting calls and things like that. And so I remember it was a Saturday morning and I was looking at it and it said they were looking for a hip hop instructor for Miss Barbara's Dance Center in Bloomfield Hills. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to apply for that. I was like, girl, you ain't never taught a class. You teach your group members, but I was like, nah, you don't even qualify. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. There was no social media in which we know it in today's time when I did this. And so there was maybe MySpace or something like that. Right. And so it was like, okay, I called and set up my interview time, went out there, drove out there. And I'm looking like, wow, I'm all the way out here. I didn't even know there was a street called Long Pine in Orchard Lake.
Girl,
I didn't know.
The folks live. Okay, the folks live out there.
Houses. Okay? I'm looking like, wow. Like driving out there. Here go this little girl.
The Pistons live. Like that live out there.
Right. I get there and then Miss Barbara, she said, oh, honey, I wish you would have called before you came because my son bought this new state-of-the-art stereo system and he had to step out and I don't know how to work it. So I felt my heart start beating. I thought like, okay, I wonder if because she was Jewish. And I said, I wonder if she saw because I'm African-American. She like, no, you're not teaching at my school. So I was like, well, can I look at the system? Maybe I know, So we went into the studio room and I'm looking like this big old system, Rocki. I was like, and I'm over there like, how do you open it? In my mind, like, where the button at? What? Mm. And I was like, I felt defeated. I said, you know what, Miss Barbara? I said, I could reschedule and come back. And she said, yeah, we can get another time. I said, but you know what? I really don't need the music. I can do it. And so she said, you could perform without music? I said, yeah. I said, music is in your head.
Exactly.
So she said,
all the time.
Oh, okay.
That be me all the time.
Okay. Because, we always have a tune or something in our head. Right. So I got in my mindset, found my rhythm in my head, did my full out routine. When I was done, she was like, wow. She said, where did you study? I said, oh, here go the execution mark. Okay, here we go getting the ejection. I said, I didn't study anywhere. I said my knowledge is street taught. Like I'm a urban dancer. She said that's natural raw talent.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I've been dancing since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
She was like, wow. She was like, honey. She was like, we have another instructor who's amazing, but her plate is full, which is Alina Kirkley-Otis. Shout out to Alina Kirkley-Otis. And she said, but we want to bring on another hip hop instructor. I was like, okay. She said, when can you start? I said, when do you want me to start? And she said, can you start next Saturday? I said, absolutely. Okay. When I got in my car, Rocki, and I got back on Orchard Lake, I'm screaming and yelling like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I'm thinking like, I'm about to be a teacher and getting paid to teach. And that kind of took me into meeting a female rapper named 6'4", and dancing with Miss Barbara. She came to the instructors that had the top dancers, and she says, listen, we have an opportunity. Monica's coming to town, and Monica wants a group to open up. And I need my top instructors, and I need you to pick at least 3 of your best dancers and create a phenomenal piece. And so that task was given to Alina, and Alina was like, well, Teresa, let's get together and combine our classes. I was like, okay. I pulled in my sister who didn't belong there, but she was a dancer since she was 5 as well.
Right.
And shout out to my sister, Victoria. And so we created this piece. Rocki, when I tell you we killed it at Pine Knob.
I love it. Pine Knob, okay?
Okay. It was.
They're about to turn it back to Pine Knob, by the way. They're about to change the name back.
I know. Are they?
Yes. They're about to change it back from DTE.
They should have never changed it. It was like a staple.
But
that's okay.
Politics.
That's okay. Politics. But
exactly.
So from there, we started dancing for another local rapper named Alley Life.
Mm-hmm.
And he had just got signed to Farm Club, which was under, I believe it was under Interscope Records.
Okay.
And so that's when I was in the season. I went and auditioned for another movie that was through the Metro Times paper, and went to this audition. Wasn't feeling comfortable because it was in somebody's house. I was thinking like, I wasn't used to that. So I was thinking,
right. This is safe. I don't know y'all.
I don't know you. So you in the basement, like I'll step by the door, like if I gotta run out. Cause at that time I didn't carry at that time. And so I was thinking like, but I can't fight though. Cause let me tell you, I'll stab you and stuff like that. So I was thinking in my mind, fight or flee, fight or flee. And so it was just like, I sat there, blew it off, didn't even think about it. Like, I ain't going back. That ain't for me. And we had a showdown at St. Andrews. And the group D12, which I wasn't familiar with like that.
Right. I'm glad we need to hear, because that was my next question. Like, let's segue into that. Right.
Yeah. So you see how it's coming together? You see how it's coming together? Right. And so they were doing sound check. And so I remember watching them. I knew who Bizarre was because of his gimmicks and all that. I knew who Proof was. Right. But I didn't know who Con Artist, Conniving, and Swifty McVeigh was.
Right.
I didn't know who was who. And so they were doing their sound check and doing stuff. And I remember just standing at the tip of the stage watching them, and I zoned out. And I was fixated on this earring that was in Swift's ear. And so one of my partners came up and was like, girl, you ain't hear us calling you? I was like, no. She was like, what the hell was you looking at? I said,
he put a spell on you, for real.
He did.
Put a spell on you.
He did. And so I was looking
like Screaming Jay Hawkins. Okay.
But I didn't know. I didn't know, Rocki. And so it was just like, okay. I was like, didn't think none of us. We opened up. Alley Life opened up for D12. M was still real a part of that. He was coming out performing because he was putting them really on the map.
This was 2005?
This was 2004.
Okay.
2004. Okay. And so Obi Trice, everybody was there doing this. And so we had to go through. And so they gave us this pep talk, like, listen, Eminem, Obi Trice, D12, and them are all in the building. And they are all up in the VIP area. So we can't go up in there until they come out. And, they don't want to be bothered. I was thinking like, what? Like, okay, whatever. So as we were transitioning, going over, and they were leaving out, when I walked, I remember looking at Swift, and I was walking, and I turned around and I looked back at him. And when I turned around and looked back at him, he turned around and looked at me. And I was thinking like, damn, I think I know him. But Rocki, I didn't. I didn't know him, but I was like, he's familiar to me. I'm like, I felt like I knew him, but I was like, huh, okay. So I kept on going. And so we, performed. It was whatever. Another time we got to open up and do something. They were doing something at Hart Plaza, passed him again, looked back at him like, why do I think I know him? Right? Moving ahead, we ended up working on this trailer called 7 Days on 7 Mile. And so the producer, shout out to Keith Robinson, he said, listen, we're trying to get some investors. And I was an improver. I was a really good improver at this time. He said, and I need my best of the best to come together. We have a member from D12. He said, Swifty McVeigh, and everybody kind of knew which one he was. I still didn't know which one he was. So I was like, damn, I wonder if that's the one. I was like, I wonder. I was like, well, I don't know. He said, so TT, he was like, I'm gonna need you and Vitra and Dave, and I need y'all to come together and put them together. And my heart was like, oh my God, like y'all, you gonna rest this on us? Like, what if we don't impress him and then we blew your deal, And so we was at the Wall Street Lounge. Remember the Wall Street Lounge?
Yeah, off the Lodge.
Off the Lodge.
Yes, Jesus. Uh-huh.
Yes. So
I think they reopened that. As a matter of fact,
it's not the same, but they did.
Okay.
It's not the same, but they did. And so they, he told us when he gets here, just he real cool, he real laid back. So when he walked in, my heart started beating fast because I was like, that's the guy. I was like, oh, that's the. Well, I said, so that's Swifty. I'm like, to myself, I'm having this conversation. I was like, okay. So we got into, work mode and we did a skit. And looking at him, he was just like, because it looked like we was about to get into it and we was all doing some stuff. It was like one of those flash mobs before flash mobs manifested.
Yeah.
And so when we were said and done, he went over and introduced us to Swift. And so he said, what did you think? And Swift was like, I thought this was about to be real. And he was like, I don't roll with security, because he was touring heavy back then. He said, I come solo dolo. And I was thinking like, well, damn.
Isn't that one of their security though? Solo
Dolo. Yeah. Shout out to Dolo. Yeah. And so he was like, well, I'm getting ready to go on the road. He said, so when you guys get ready to shoot the trailer, whatever, I'm down with it. I accept the offer. He said, okay, so I'm gonna pair you up with a couple of my top actors and stuff like that. So when he came to the first rehearsal, I got teamed up with him. And so everybody was like, oh my God, like, and he was so cool, so down to earth. And everybody's like, like, oh, you work with Eminem and he was his own man. And so I just got to know him. He was so humble. That's one thing I loved about him.
I peeped that about him when I met him first at Beth's listening party last year. And he just spoke to me like he waved like we had known each other. I was like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
I was like, he was very approachable. Like, I appreciate that. Is he from the East Side? Must be from the East Side. But he ain't from the East Side.
No, he is a West Sider.
Oh, okay. Because
he's a West Sider.
He's approachable though. So,
yes, he's approachable. But he hung out on the East Side a lot. So
that's what it
that
is.
part. That part.
Juju from us. Right.
Okay. But we got to know each other there. We worked on the trailer together, and the rest is kind of history. We built a friendship. At that time, I got out of a relationship. He was in a marriage. And so we didn't cross any lines or anything like that at the time. It was just like, we just got to know each other. And like, I really enjoyed conversating with him and learning about him and his family and where he came from. And, and I remember we had this one conversation one time. He had said, I trust you. He said, I trust you so much that if I had a briefcase and I had a lot of money and I needed to leave it with somebody, he said, I feel like I trust you to the point where I would give that briefcase to you. And I know that you wouldn't even open it. And I was like, you're right. I wouldn't. It's not mine. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't. And so we just got there. And then as time went on, we just connected more and more. And I remember he was still married when I was starting to feel like, I think I like him. And I heard my grandmother say, listen, you don't ever mess with a married man because you're going to go straight to hell.
Okay.
So I was crying and praying.
Right.
Like, Lord, I shouldn't feel this kind of way towards this man because he's still married. And one thing I loved about him, no matter what they were going through, he never talked down about her. He never called her out her name.
And that attracted me even more, probably. Like, okay, he's not just trying to down her and make it seem like make an excuse for if he steps out.
Never did he do that.
Story like, oh, she a bitch. She did that.
No,
so we making an excuse. No,
never did he do that.
With integrity.
Yes. And so things kind of went from there. And, as he was leaving the relationship, it was kind of like we start entering into one. And it was a little scary role because it was kind of like, I didn't want to be a rebound. I didn't want to feel like you ain't got time to heal, and, let's
Are you getting with me just because you used to having a wife? And,
absolutely.
Because men usually do move on quicker than women.
And so it was just kind of like, but our friendship, and then we were in the industry. It was like one of those, he could come and kick it with me about whatever he was dealing with in the industry. And I understood. I could tell him about whatever I was dealing with, and he understood. And it was just like we were so much alike, And I felt like, okay, Jesus, okay, I see what you're doing. You setting us up for the setup. And so that's kind of ended up where we are.
Then y'all got married. So how was that like when he transitioned out of D12? Like, what was that when he wasn't touring as much, when things were not?
After Proof passed away?
Yeah, like just in general. And I don't know, you might want to turn the sound down on your, I don't know if you got your phone, because I'm kind of hearing some feedback. So
probably, let me.
But yeah, what was that like? I always wonder, like, when people transition out of the industry and now they live in a normal life, so to speak. Like, what was that like for you all as a couple? He's no longer part of D12 in the spotlight.
You know what?
I mean, he'll always be part of D12.
I was just about to say that. He's always going to be D12.
So much respect. That's always
the brand. It's their brand.
Part of him, but right now, not actively.
Right.
They're not actively touring.
So I think it was difficult in the beginning because they took a huge loss when they lost Proof, because that wasn't only their partner, that was their brother. Like they really had a bond, like brotherhood for sure.
Yeah.
And so it also gave them all the opportunity to sit back and say, what do I really want to do with my life at this time?
Yeah.
I want to do this. Maybe, someone to go off and produce. I want to maybe go solo. I want to work on these. So these are things that now you have a new set of eyes. You can look at things in a different lens and say, well, I'm going to step out and try to do this. We're going to always be D12, but this is what I want to do. So people started branching off, doing their own thing, including Swift. And it's like, collectively you're D12, but you're also your own people. So you still got Bizarre is Bizarre. You still got Connive is Connive. You still got Karen Artist was Karen Artist. You still had Swifty McDay and Swifty McDay. And it was like, Eminem gonna always be Eminem, And so it's just like, okay, let's go out and do what we gonna do. We know who we are, where we come from, and we still have the same fans, the same supporters, the same followers. And let's see what God gonna do with it. And so it allowed Swift also to step back into acting. Now, he had the opportunity to work with TJ Hemphill. And this is when Swifty was thinner. We laugh about this all the time. He played Jesus.
Oh!
In Peerless Times.
Yes,
he played Jesus
in the original Alabama. Peerless Times.
In the original Peerless Times. He played Jesus. Yep. When they went to Alabama. And I believe when it went to Ohio. And so I was blessed to be able to go down for both productions and work the production scene. And so he did an amazing job. Like, I knew he could do film, but I didn't know, because he also did The Longest Yard. He was in The Longest Yard.
Oh, yeah.
Gave him his SAG credit, And so I just thought, like, okay, there's another level to you. So he said, I really like acting. He said, so I'm just going to branch out. And then he said, I like working the board and I want to learn how to do that. And so he just started seeing what he could do. And because he's so approachable, people started reaching out to him saying, hey, would you like to come and talk to the young men about this or do that? So he started going out doing speaking engagements. And one thing people don't know about Swifty is that he gets a little nervous with that. And people, I'm like, boy, you perform in front of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people.
Really, I mean.
But he said it's a difference. He said, when I give a speech, it's different than I got a microphone and I'm rocking out.
That's true. That's true. It
comes natural for you because I'm a public speaker. And so I go out and I do things. I've been doing it. It's just a natural thing God just allowed me to do. And so I speak from my heart. And if I know my topic, I can just improvise.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And so I can kind of understand what he's saying, though, because like with me, with my podcast and when I'm with Rolling Out or I'm interviewing people, or when I'm training at work, because I'm a child welfare trainer, it's like natural for me. But instances like this thing with United Way, where I'm presenting in front of parents, in front of school officials, that's a different pressure. Because it really needs to be on point. It really needs to, it needs to be on point regardless. And I was talking about today how we spend hours preparing for just 1 hour. Right? Like how many right, sip on that. Let's both sip on that. This morning I was thinking about how I am already planning April and May's shows, right? I'm already thinking like, what am I going to do in June for the 5-year anniversary of Rocki's reality? And I thought about how I take so many hours to prepare just for this 1 hour.
Yeah.
And so that's just like kind of life. You prepare for so long for just this one moment. So I can get that how sometimes you move into different spaces.
Yes.
And but it's a good thing too. Because the nerves pretty much telling you this is where you're supposed to be. This is outside of your comfort zone. This is where you're supposed to be flourishing. Yeah. So it is. So I could definitely get that. So I'm glad, I really and for me, it's you always, I think Pharrell said, always keep doubting yourself. Not saying that in a negative way, but always just stay on your toes. Yeah. Just always stay hungry. And that's definitely what I want to convey to people. A lot of times they're like, oh, you a superstar, you doing this and that. And I'm like, I am just still grinding. I am still in the infant stages of what can be. And it's like God brings so many different opportunities. So, but I want to ask you, what have been some low moments that you had to get through where you made some mistakes and you had to recover from it? Because that's easy in this industry because it's so fickle. So and it's times where we have to recover, we have to bounce back.
I think when I was so used to working with TJ that it was almost like an automatic expectation in my mind that, oh, he doing something, I know I'm going to work. I know I'm going to be on production. Okay. Because I work with him all the time and this is what he trained me and done this. And so it was just like when I would hear like, oh, TJ's getting ready to do so-and-so. And I'm thinking like, he ain't calling me though.
Like, why he called me? He ain't emailed me or done.
I didn't get the memo because it wasn't sent to you. And so it was just like, I thought like, I'm a loyal person. Let's go there first. And so I'm like, I didn't never think about working for anyone else or with any other production besides TJ. Because I felt like he put me on, he taught me what I know. It wouldn't be right to work with other people. And so I didn't get that. And it was just like, I was hurt because I was thinking like, so why am I not good enough? Like, does he don't think my skill set? I mean, he the one training me, like, did I ever do something that make him mad? And he didn't tell me. And, he got a nickname for me. He called me T-Rex. And so I'm like, huh. And so I remember I approached him and I asked him like, why you didn't call? He said, T, I'm putting together my production company. He said, and it's kind of like, I'm not really doing the administrative piece of putting people together. It's kind of like everybody has a role in what they do. And, he says nothing personal, whatever. He said, you're going to always be my T-Rex. And so he's like, I always got work or whatever. So I was sporadically work for him. And then I started reaching out to work for other people like Vanessa Lynn. And she was the next person that took me under her wing. And
shout out to Vanessa Lynn.
Yeah, shout out to Vanessa Lynn. She taught me theater in a different way. From, people can be in the same genre, do the same type of thing, but do it differently.
Yep.
And have a learning and teaching style, a difference. Right. And so she took my skill set to another level. Mm-hmm. And then I started doing a lot of stuff for Vanessa. I worked on Boss Lady. I worked on Unequally Yoked. I worked on Affairs, which is where K-Ron Moore, I met K-Ron. And she was playing Detective Moultrie, and she was a phenomenal actress. And so back then, this is before Victoria Franklin manifested, and so a lot of people started working and doing stuff, and I'm watching people expand and grow, and I'm thinking like, why I'm not getting out the basement? Like, is it because I'm little? I'm sure. Like, why they don't see me, And I'm like, I've always had an animated personality. Like, you'll hear people used to be like, oh, she be doing too much. She like that's really me. If you know me, I'm little, but I just like, oh, my imagination has always been huge as a child. So I just grew up as an adult, like, oh my God, always excited about life. And so I still went through that, like, I don't think I'm good enough. I would talk down to myself, Rocki. I would be like, you're
that imposter syndrome. We all been hit with it. That imposter syndrome.
I didn't know anything about that. But I was going through it. And I cried many a nights, and I was like, another part of my life, I'm gonna just stop production work. I'm not, I'm not built for this. And so I remember I got a call, and shout out to Deborah Chenault Green. And she said, hey, T, she said, my sister-in-law is writing a play called Mysteries of the Heart, and she's looking for a director. So I was like, okay. I said, well, I can refer. She said, no. I referred you. I said, oh, no, I'm not a director. I'm not a director. She said, didn't you now, one thing people don't know, Vanessa Lynn, when I first met Vanessa, I auditioned for Equally Yoked. And so I went in, I was supposed to play a girl named Teresa, a waitress named Teresa. And shout out in the spirit to the director, his name was Anthony. He ended up passing away. Now, in the midst of auditioning, he was sitting there, and it was my first time meeting Vanessa Lynn. And so I was sitting there like, okay. And he kept looking at me. And I'm thinking, like, I don't know, nobody here. I'm feeling awkward. Why is this man staring at me? I don't know what's going on. And so he stopped. He said, I know you're wondering why I keep staring at you. I said, really I am? Because I was thinking, like, do you know me?
Right. What's happening? Right.
And I said, do I need to run out this door? I know. He's like, everybody started laughing. And he says, no. He said, you remind me of my sister. He said, but you're the character I want for Teresa. I said, and that's funny because that's my name. So I said, I ain't gonna never forget who you calling when you say Teresa to the stage or whatever. I know it's me. So everybody started laughing. He said, but I need an image for you. I see you with long curly hair and a rose in your hair. And so he told his stylist, I need you to create her look for this. And I'm like, said, okay. Because I wasn't really into weave at that time. So I was thinking, like, I don't have long curly hair. And so she said, I got you. We'll get it together. I went to rehearsal one day and everybody was crying. And I'm walking in like, why everybody sad? Uh-oh. And they said, you ain't get the news? And I said, what news? They said, Anthony had a heart attack. He died. I'm thinking he's young. He was young, Rocki. So I was like, so I got sad because it was nice working with him for the small time I did. He had a beautiful personality, a beautiful spirit. And so it was just like, okay. So Vanessa, she was torn up about it. And she said, he used to always tell me life is short. You need to, the reason why she brought him on is because he said, she normally directs her own stuff. He said, you need to sit back and look at your masterpiece.
Right.
Because when you're writing it and you're directing, you can't see the beauty of it.
Right.
So she said, I'm going to look for a new director and, I'll keep y'all, posted on who we come up with. So I remember getting off work and she called me. I was on my way home and she said, hey, TT, what's up? I said, nothing. I'm going my way home from work. So she said, yeah. She said, so I want to tell something to you, an announcement before rehearsal tonight. So I was like, okay. She said, I found a director. I said, oh, good. I was Rocki. I was getting ready to get on. I never gonna forget. I was coming off of Evergreen and 696 getting ready to get on. And so I was getting ready to merge. I said, okay, well, who the director? So she said, it's going to be you. Rocki almost crashed because I was like, what? I said, I've never directed. I'm not a director. She said, TT, stop. If I didn't think you could do it, because this is my baby, I wouldn't put it in your hands. But I know you can do it.
And Vanessa she don't play.
She don't play.
She an Aries like me, so I know if we picked you, if we chose you, that means
you got chose, right?
You can do.
So I was just like, oh my God. So when we got this, she said, you're gonna direct. And I'm like, I've never directed a day of my life, Rocki. So I was like, okay. So, but I knew the script and I watched TJ over the years and it was just like, I kind of knew about blocking and all that. And so it was just like, okay. And so that's how I met Kel Mitchell. He hosted it. I also was in charge of, okay, we need him to get to the airport, picked up from the airport. He liked soul food. That's when we went to a place, I think it was called Irene's. You remember Irene's? The soul food place that served Kool-Aid?
6 Mile, I think.
6 Mile.
Yeah. So not too far from Teresa's.
Not too far.
I want to say.
Yeah.
Teresa's about 6 Mile of Schaefer.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. And so it was just like all these things. And then it takes me into this, backtrack and bring us here. Angela Dunlap Barrow, amazing playwright, amazing. I used to stalk her back before I even became an actor when she did the production If These Hips Could Talk. Remember that?
Oh my God, I went to that. I loved it.
Okay.
I was pregnant with my daughter.
See?
When I went to that. If These Hips Could Talk. Yes.
And I was like, I always wanted to work with her. And so it was just like, I remember creating a resume, sending it, never got a recall or response. I was like, okay, because I really didn't have no experience and things like that. So we were promoting the play and Vanessa was like, this is a big deal. We at the Rep Theater. We got some heavy hitters coming in and we just need to promote. And I thought, I'm going to invite Angela Dunlap. So I sent the invite to her. She accepted it. She didn't know me. She accepted it. She was VIP. She approached us after and she said, you did a great job directing. And I was like, thank you. And that was huge coming for Angela. What?
She's another vet.
Okay. Okay. So, and then her and Vanessa connected. I introduced them, and then they connected and Church Girl and all those things started meeting their relationship and stuff. Bringing us back. I'm heavy in the game. I'm working with Vanessa. Then Vanessa started going on the road. And then here I am again. I'm at home.
Right.
Why I ain't get to go on the road?
Right.
Everybody, they built a team or a team that's already pre-built. And, it's one of those almost like a union thing. You can only bring in so many people because this is really what we're doing. And if you already got a team, then, and I was like, when is that going to ever come for me?
Right.
Right. And so it was just like, okay, once again, I want to quit because I'm never going to get out this basement. I'm just going to stand. I'm good enough to work in this basement, but for some reason, I'm not asked to come up to the top floor.
Exactly. And I know
but it's no love lost.
I have that potential. I know inside of me. That's what frustrates me. Like I know I have that potential.
Yeah. So that I went through them stages of you got what it takes, but it takes me to what I said earlier. It wasn't my season. It wasn't my season.
Right.
But all the things I got along the way, I received. It made me better and bigger. Where I started being stage management for, shout out to Nikki Giovanni. She was working with Crystal P, and Crystal P was looking for a stage manager. And I've worked with Crystal P too because she was also in Affairs and Unequally Yoked and all those. That's how I met Crystal P. And so they were in the middle of a rehearsal and she told Nikki G, she said, I need a stage manager. I'm trying to think of who I could get. And so she said, TT that work with Vanessa. She said, oh my God, why didn't I think about her? She a beast. Let me call her. So she reached out to me. I went to a meeting, saw what they were doing. I was like, it'll be my honor. And that was like stepping out. And from that moment, I started working and doing stuff and people started requesting me. And it was just like, I got out the basement. I'm up on the main floor,
Right.
So, and then I moved to the porch. Now I'm on the porch now. Like, I'm watching people now. I'm looking. Right. And so that's how I got here. And then you got people like Marcus Devines. And my husband is my biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter. But you got people, Courtney and Christina, constantly pushing me to be as great as I could possibly be because they saw what I didn't see. And then people just always encouraging me and speaking life into me.
And that's what you mean when you feeling down at times because I promise you those moments where I'll be thinking like, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's when somebody will text me like, okay, we need you to do this. And I'm like, okay, God, all right.
It's nothing but God.
I promise every other month I'll be telling Ben, like, I don't want to do the show no more. I'm tired. I'm tired of emailing folks. Like, I will be glad when I get to that point where I email something and it's like, Oprah, yep, we there. You know what I'm saying? Instead of me having to chase people and try to prove your value, it just gets exhausting. But God is teaching us.
Yes, He is.
The grind.
Yes,
to be appreciative and to stay humble and to stay hungry. So, of course, the hour is almost up.
Yes,
almost up. So I want to end with asking, what's on your bucket list, TT? What is on your bucket list? Whether it be to an event you want to attend, an activity you want to do, somewhere you want to travel, a person you want to work with. Give me 3 things that are on your bucket list.
One, I want to work with Tyler Perry. I want to work with Tyler Perry. I've always wanted to work with him ever since he came on the scene. I love his writing style. I love his
Come on, K-Ron, put it in his ear.
Okay, boom, 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 boom.
Come on, K-Ron. Shoot.
Come on. I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. Always wanted to go to Hawaii. And I have decided that I want my life journey when God says, come home. Before he says that, many moons from now. But before he says that, I want to work directly 100% for myself.
Yeah. Amen. Be able to be the employer and cutting the checks for others.
That's right. Yeah. I believe in paying it forward. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It done got 8:00 already. We just chatting, just
because we do that.
It's so much more. It's so much more. I thank you for everyone who watched. I will be on TT from the D show next Tuesday. What time? Tap in Tuesday. What time?
Tap in Tuesday, next Tuesday at 9 p.m.
We will be live.
Yes.
From on Anchor, or tell them how they
can go to StreamYard.com, log into their Facebook account. You'll see it on YouTube. You'll see it on Twitter. You'll see it on LinkedIn. And so, Rocki's gonna come and bless my show. You're phenomenal. When you came the last time, it was an honor because it was like one of those. I wonder if Rocki will come on. And Beth helped me get that connection. Beth was like, and shout out to Beth. Amazing. She's on the road right now with Kim and Babyface and stuff like that. And so,
I love her.
Team Beth, like.
And can't wait for that album. She got a new single coming out on the 22nd. I can't wait for that. Yay.
Y'all not ready for that single, Rocki. Honey.
I'm excited.
But so I'm excited about you coming next Tuesday for Tap In Tuesday. They'll see the promo flying around. Yeah, it is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
but thank you, TT. And of course,
Rocki, one thing. Can I say this on your show?
Yeah, go ahead.
With TJ, I had TJ last week or this week. And so if people want to go to his premiere, Shaded Rooms, they gifted.
That's a new play?
It's a movie called Shaded Dreams. It's going to premiere on the 19th and 20th at the theater in Farmington. If people want to win, they have the opportunity to win 6 tickets from TT from the D, blessed by Vitra by way of TJ. They can email me at ttfromthed@gmail.com and say, hey, I would love to be one of your lucky winners. I'm going to pick the name live during our interview next Tuesday.
Yes. Can I enter? Let me. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I live near Farmington, so I want to go. And you know what? I met TJ and he probably doesn't remember me. It was just real quickly it was the Motown. It was a play. Motown. It was at the Fisher about 3 years ago. It was like a Motown review. I'm trying to remember.
Was it the Marvin Gaye production?
No, I think it was it was like the Motown story when they showed like Berry Gordy working at the plant and how he started Motown.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a review in a way.
Yeah.
It featured multiple artists, but it mainly featured Stevie Wonder's music. It was a lot of Stevie Wonder music. And I met him in the lobby afterwards because I think he was part of the production on that. But it was
I think he was too.
And I remember taking my mom.
Okay.
So I would love to reconnect with him because he's a legend. But again, thank you so much, TT. Thank you
for the invite.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not, I'm one of them people, like, I still just want to just stay regular sometimes, just I'm eat, sleep it. Yeah. The potential you have, but you still want to be still like that person who can always be approachable. And that's the line we balance sometimes. Cause you can't, as you get to a certain level, everyone can't have access to you.
That's true.
And that's one of the hard lessons I've learned with this too. But I'm
learning that too. You can't let everybody have access to you. And I have clients now because I started my company. Thank you, God. I launched enterprises. Yes. And so I have clients. And so I love my clients. I respect them. And I take on new clients and I'm a freelancer. So that gives me the ability. You need me to work on that? If I'm available, I'm always looking at my planners. Let me see I'm doing all these things. But just to be who we are, use our gifts, our talents, like you're an amazing writer. And so I'm like, I know that there's another level of greatness that we need to prepare ourselves when it comes to you. Yeah,
I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there, and I appreciate you. And I'm still in that transition to embracing that greatness, because at times I'll be like, oh God, okay, you got them reaching out to me. They think I can do something. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Lord. Okay.
Yes.
I'm following. I'm trying to follow. And trying to relinquish control. Tell people where they can find you, TT. Where can they follow you?
All social media handles is TT from the D. My website, www.ttfromthed.com. You can hear me on Wind Down Wednesdays on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor.fm. You also tap in Tuesdays, live stream every Tuesday at 9 o'clock, both shows 9 o'clock. And that's through StreamYard. As we are here, log into your Facebook account and you can chime in, weigh in, share your questions and comments. You also could check us out on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and just hopefully one day a station near you when we become syndicated.
We're going to claim it. We're going to claim it. We're going to be local, nationwide.
Nationwide is on your side.
I love it. Girl, shout out to Jill Scott, okay? Shout out to Jill Scott. She killed it. Put the soul in there. Okay, thank you everyone for watching and listening. Please make sure you follow Rocki's Reality on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And please subscribe to YouTube. I officially have 100 YouTube subscribers, so I need that to get to 200. Let's go. One at a time. That's how you get elephant. One at a time. One bite at a time. So
yes, congratulations.
And I will see you on Tuesday, next Tuesday, the 15th.
Happy and Tuesday, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Have a wonderful night, Queen.
Okay, thank you. You too.
Bye.